Hi everybody, it's Dr. Steven in my office again. Today's video is going to focus on what to do, what not to do whenever you get sick. So when you get a cold, head flu, any kind of thing that causes a fever, things that you can do and things you shouldn't do that'll make it last longer. So first we're going to talk about what happens when an infection, some kind of virus, bacteria, fungus does get into your body and the immune system can't handle it. So what happens? So here we have a little diagram. So here we have a pathogen. So it could be virus, bacteria, fungus, anything that gets into your body. Let's say it affects your throat first. It could affect your stomach. It could infect your small intestines. Wherever it penetrates and infects, we have three things that happen locally at that spot. So let's say it goes into your throat. Okay, so this bacteria goes into your throat. The first thing that happens is this guy right here looks like Pac-Man. He is called a macrophage, and he goes and he tries to swallow up that pathogen and kill it. Second thing is that these right here, neutrophils, which are white blood cells, just like the macrophage, both white blood cells, they'll secrete these little particles that also try and kill it. And then the third thing is that these little proteins here go and attach to the side of the pathogen and they try and kill it. So we have three things that happen locally, right there in the throat. Okay. Now let's say that that's not enough, or that this bacteria, we got too much of it, or it's replicating too fast and these guys can't handle it. Then the macrophage, when it does kill one of them, it'll take a little part of it over here and make a little flag. And then that allows these antibody producing cells to come by and secrete these little antigens here and read whatever part of that pathogen the macrophage put out there, and then they can start making antibodies to that pathogen. And this response is a systemic response, meaning it happens all over the body. So it's kind of like these guys at the front line, and they try and attack and kill it then, but if that doesn't happen, calls for reinforcements and starting to make antibodies. So the macrophage swallows this up, kills it, saves a little part of it, and presents it to the outside of the cell. Antibody thing comes by and then reads that and starts making antibodies to this pathogen. And that's why, once you make antibodies to something, you can never get that again. The reason why we get colds all the time and flus all the time is because there's lots of different strains of colds and flus. So we don't have antibodies to every different strain, until we come across it. So this is generally how the immune system works. It goes a little bit further. If the pathogen does infiltrate into a cell, the body has ways of programmed cell death to save the body. By killing the whole cell, it also kills the pathogen. But I want to focus on this. And I want to talk about fever. So lots of times people are scared of fevers and they think fevers are bad. But fevers are not bad. Fevers are exactly what the body is supposed to do when it gets an infection. A fever is attempting to create an environment where the bacteria cannot survive, like a hotter environment where the bacteria doesn't like it. And when it gets hotter like that, it stimulates the immune system. So this whole process here is heightened by an increase in temperature of the body. So Hippocrates, very smart man, father of medicine, he said, give me a fever and I can cure any illness. So in a way, he was right. He was right on. Now, all that being said, there are some fevers, or there's some temperatures that you need to look out for. And these are in Fahrenheit. I apologize, I should have converted them to Celsius. But 100.4 Fahrenheit in an infant less than 1 month, that's something you need to look out for. Fever 102.2 in a child 3 to 36 months years old. And then anybody with 104.5 Fahrenheit, those three are ones you don't want the body to get too hot. If it gets too hot, it can cause some damage to the body. Some detrimental things can happen. So if your fever does get that high, you want to seek medical care, like go to the emergency room. But otherwise, besides those three, which don't happen very often, when you do get an infection of some sort, usually you don't get above those numbers, and it's better to let the body fight the infection with the fever and just support the body with vitamins, minerals, supplements, herbs, support the immune system and the liver so that it can fight the infection. Now there is some talk about inducing fevers. There are ways that you can induce a fever, so stimulate the fever more quickly so that the body can fight the infection more quickly. Like when you're sick and that one time you wake up in the middle of the night and you're sweating, your body broke the fever. It got to the certain point where it was working really hard, it fought off the infection, and then it was over. And the rest of your sickness is just kind of your body getting rid of the excess infection and all the materials it used to fight the infection, just getting rid of those things. So lots of people want to induce a fever so that process happens quickly. You can get on to getting it out of your body. Now when you're inducing a fever, you want to definitely pay attention and monitor the fever to make sure it doesn't get over those numbers that I mentioned earlier. I also want to talk about antibiotics. Lots of times we get a flu or a cold or something, kids get ear infections or all those types of things, and we go to the doctor and we take an antibiotic. That's what they give us. That's really the only thing they know how to do. And so, while that might help us fight the infection, it also does a lot of detrimental things. So there are 3 trillion bacteria in, on, around you in your body, and they are essential to our life. They help us live. They help us do a lot of things. And an antibiotic is just that. It's anti-life. So we take an antibiotic and it starts killing everything, all those bacteria that are essential for us. And in the gut, when it starts killing the bacteria in the gut, that can suppress our immune system, which is exactly the opposite of what we want when we have an infection. So then we start taking antibiotics every time we get sick, and pretty soon we have a dysbiosis in the gut because the bacteria is so imbalanced, and the bacteria in our skin, it kills everything, and that can make us more prone to getting sick more often the more antibiotics we take. So you can see, suppressing a fever with an aspirin, or suppressing the immune system with an antibiotic, are oftentimes why a cold or a flu lasts 10 days for somebody rather than 2 days. If we let the fever take its course, support the body with the right nutrients, and we avoid antibiotics, our body can get rid of these things very quickly. So think about those things and maybe try them next time that you get a cold or a flu. I would really advise against antibiotics. Antibiotics should only be taken if you have a life-threatening infection that's going to kill you within the next couple days. And colds and flus are not those things. So the best thing we can do is obviously prevent these infections before they happen. Make or eat a diet, live a less stressful life so that when our body does come across an infection like this, we have the strongest immune system to be able to handle it. And to do that, we want to have the right diet, manage our stress. But if we do happen to get an infection, we do get sick, we want to avoid foods that will elongate the process of killing things off, which are grains, processed sugars, and anything processed really. And those are foods that we should not only avoid when we're sick, but we should avoid all the time. You'll feel much better avoiding those things. And we want to eat foods, if we get sick, we want to eat foods that will boost our immune system and help us fight the infection. And those are things like garlic and leafy green vegetables and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale and cauliflower. Those things are really good for supporting the liver and helping your body get rid of this infection as quick as possible. So those are the do's and don'ts of when you get sick. If you have any questions, post them on the website, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.